Today is still Wednesday, July 8th, 2026. The time is 4:52 p.m. And I titled this one, Protect Caitlyn. The Republicans are starting to step in now, y'all. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I was just scrolling, reading, doing what I do. And I saw this article. Um, it was a Yahoo article, and it states treated rather rough in parentheses. President Donald Trump makes feelings clear on Caitlyn Alyssa Thomas controversy. And before I read you where it's really getting ridiculous, I'm just gonna play you a short clip of him briefing and mentioning her and something else. Let me see how we get it going. Okay, 1 second. There we go.
In the face if he did something wrong. I thought your young, wonderful basketball player, Caitlyn, I thought that she was treated rather rough, if you want to know the truth. That was a much different kind of an event. That was a pretty bad event. But in this case, he didn't do anything wrong.
Now, she was treated rather rough, and that's the president himself weighing in on Caitlyn. And he sounds like he doesn't even really know what's going on. He's just being told that this is an issue and somebody needs to do something before she gets hurt. And as I was continuing to read on, let me see if I can get a clear view of what I'm reading. I hope y'all still can see me. Yeah, y'all still can see me. As I was getting a clear view, and this comes from Congress of the United States. And this actually was yesterday. And it's titled, Kathy Engelbert, Commissioner, Women's National Basketball Association, 645 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York. And it gives the area code. Dear Commissioner Engelbert, and as I always say, always pay attention to how this stuff is labeled. Dear Commissioner Engelbert, Caitlyn Clark, and again, listen to how it's written. Caitlyn Clark is transforming women's sports. She has inspired a new generation of young girls to participate in athletics and has become one of the most influential figures in the history of women's basketball. She is also the face of your league. Clark has significantly increased interest, driven records television ratings, and attracted new corporate sponsors for the WNBA. Millions of casual fans now tune in to watch her play. And this is written rather well, right? To watch her play. Now here comes the stink in the game. Unfortunately, what they too often witness is not simply aggressive competition, but repeated acts of unnecessary physical hostility and violence. I want y'all to understand how they use these buzz and power words. Unnecessary physical hostility and violence. Now this is where it gets crazy. Clark has been hip checked, poked in the eye, struck in the throat. Listen. These incidents go far beyond routine physical play. Yet, the WNBA and its officiating have too often failed to address these unacceptable incidents and hold players accountable. Recently, a player even appeared to endorse violence against Caitlyn Clark on a social media post, further fueling concerns about the culture surrounding these incidences. In addition, concerning reports suggest that many of these attacks against Caitlin Clark may be racially motivated. I said, wow. And then they go on to further clean her clock. As commissioner, you have the obligation to ensure that every player competes at a safe and professional environment, both on and off the court, free from violence, discriminating, or retaliation. If discrimination or retaliation is occurring and creating hostile work environments, we support any appropriate investigation by the Department of Justice, the Department of Labor, or the Equal Opportunity Commission if true, such conduct could constitute violations of federal civil rights. Now this is ridiculous. This is a Republican-led charge by August Pfluger. I think that's how you pronounce his name. August Pfluger. And then to hear when I just played where Donald Trump, and he seemed like he didn't even know what's going on, where he just said, Caitlin. And now it's like, this is getting to the point of no return. Like, this is getting so ridiculous that they sent the commissioner of the WNBA a letter to protect Caitlin. And it's like, now what do? Insulate her inside this plastic bubble? Like, this is ridiculous. But what do I say on my live all the time? White people cannot experience discrimination or racism, so therefore any little thing that they see as an infraction or unfair, they will use it. What they are going to do is use reverse racism. Creating a hostile work environment, discrimination? Come on. Are we serious? So what does it leave the WNBA players to do? They can't play defense on her. The referees won't be able to eject her. They are still dragging out this Alyssa Thomas. Alyssa Thomas has been suspended. But I told y'all, they want more. When you have a beast with an insatiable hunger, they want more. They're still driving the charge behind this. And what was noticeable or notable as I read a couple of articles, one article that I read, see, this is what I say, images are advertisements for your mind, right? And the image that they used, and they made sure, see, a picture, this is why they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. They made sure they got that image of Alyssa Thomas's fist and Caitlin's throat because they want to ensure that you capture this violence against her. I told y'all those are power words. See, when they say attack, violence, assault. See, these are words in that book that I tell y'all about 100 Years of Lynching, how they would use to criminalize and string up black men. Ravisher, savage, thug, all of these things. And so now the WNBA, what do you do now if you're the WNBA? And I just want to go over and read that again. This was dated yesterday. This is a letter. If anybody that's just coming in, I'm talking about a Republican letter written to the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, to protect Caitlin. And you would think with all of this stuff going on in the world, You got war going on. You got affordability. You got a lot of things that affect direct people here. But this is what they will focus. And I'm just going to read a couple of lines to y'all. And I was like, yo, when I came across this, I said, yo, what the? All right. And it's dated. Okay. It says Congress of the United States, Washington, D.C., July 7th, 2026. Kathy Engelbert, Commissioner, Women's National Basketball Association. I'm going to read you a few lines of this. 645 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York. And it states, Dear Commissioner Engelbert, Caitlin Clark is transforming women's sports. She has inspired a generation of young girls to participate in athletics and become one of the most influential figures in the history of women's basketball. She is also the face of your league. Listen to how this thing is written. She is also the face of your league. Clark has significantly increased fan interest, driven records, television ratings, and attracted new corporate sponsors for the WNBA. Millions of casual fans, and that's all they are, casuals. Millions of casual fans now tune into to watch her play. Unfortunately, here's where we start going downhill. Unfortunately, what they too often witness is not simply aggressive competition, but repeated acts of unnecessary physical hostility and violence. Clark has been hip checked, poked in the eye, and struck in the throat during games. These incidences go far beyond routine physical play. Yet the WNBA and its officiating have too often failed to address these unacceptable incidences and hold players accountable. What did they do with Alyssa Thomas? That's what they're focusing on. Recently, a player even appeared to endorse violence against Caitlin Clark. Now, they can incite violence against Democrats, whatever they want to do. They can do that, right? But let's stick to this. Against Caitlin Clark in a social media post, further fueling concerns about the culture surrounding these incidents. In addition, concerning reports suggest that many of these attacks against Caitlin Clark may be racially motivated. I want y'all to hear that. I want y'all to hear that. Patty back in the building. Republican August Pfluger, I think that's how you pronounce his name. And they got signatures. This is going to change the game in not a good way. You're not going to be able to play defense against her. You're not going to be able to talk directly to her. This is bullshit. Come on. Come on. So with everything going on in the world, this is what they put at the top of priorities. Are we freaking serious? Let me see what Patty's saying. I did. I just started up again. Yeah. Caitlyn, protect Caitlyn. Protect Caitlyn. This is a letter that was written by Republicans. Even got, check this out, even got Donald Trump weighing in on it.
In the face if he did something wrong. I thought your young, wonderful basketball player, Caitlyn, I thought that she was treated rather rough, if you want to know the truth. That was a much different kind of an event. That was a pretty bad event. But
that was a pretty bad event. We're talking about a foul. We're talking about a foul. They're not talking about MAGA that threatened to hang Emmanuel Acho from a tree. They're not talking about that. They're talking about insulating this fragile little white girl in a bubble to where you can't say anything to her that may hurt her feelings or appear to be hostile or violent. You can't defend her too close because it might appear to be violent or a physical threatening or an assault. This is going to also put pressure on the coach, Stephanie White, of how she's coached. Because I mean, it's laughable. You have the Congress of the United States. You have the Congress of the United States. So now what this is doing, this is making her bigger than the game. This puts people's job in jeopardy. This puts people's life and well-being in jeopardy. This is ultimately, and I'm OG WNBA old. I'm Kim Perrott, living in the Kim Perrott Award old. So I've seen a lot of the players, black and white, from Cheryl Swoops to Penny Toler, Rebecca Lobo, Tina Thompson. I've seen a lot of these players, and now for the game to be reduced to this, do these people need an advantage that bad? I absolutely do. He says, right. They do that. They do that. All of that. In the WNBA? So, don't you think they'd also hire trolls to take over YouTube? Absolutely, Patty. I absolutely know. I don't think. I absolutely know. Just like you know, Patty. I absolutely know, because this is what they do. They have to create narratives. This is where, because she's only 24, so she's a young girl herself. She's a young lady herself. But what I think, and I was just talking to a friend about this, I said, what's happening to the game is that it's ballooning and it's getting so far out of hand. She absolutely knows that this is ridiculous. Caitlin Clark knows that this is absolutely ridiculous what they are doing. But it feeds her ego and it protects her. And it protects her white fragility. And it protects her emotional state or lack thereof emotional state. To where it almost gonna be, like I said, I can't go back to it because he's done enough shucking and jiving, but I can't help but to go back to it more and more about they threatened to lynch Emmanuel Acho for a sports take surrounding her. What are we doing? What are we witnessing? They can damn near incite violence toward Democrats. But we're talking about a basketball player. They didn't say, even though they added other women in or girls in or young ladies, they don't care about them. And I'm going to go as far to say that they're only concerned about the up-and-coming white athletes. They could care less about Alyssa Thomas. We know they care less about Angel Reese. They could care less about Olivia Miles. They could care less about Juju Watkins coming up. Because they have made this one player bigger than the game. And what I would do if I was these WNBA players, I would boycott. I mean, surely, since she is the biggest draw, you let her play by herself. You let her lace them up. You let Sophie Cunningham, because I'm sure Sophie Cunningham is going to be with her. Lexi Hall, you let them be with her. You let every player that choose to play, and you walk away because it's already unfair treatment. You're going to get to a point where they're going to blow a whistle for just even looking at her. This is ridiculous. That this is all the Congress of the United States, this is all they have to do because they have to constantly write narratives. Absolutely. Patty says, I mean, the president used to kick people out of apartments for his dad growing up. So, are we really shocked at what we're getting behavior-wise? Right? Are we really surprised? Are we really surprised that they are ushering in white South Africans while exiting out everybody else and saying y'all either go home or get sent home? But to constantly control your mind as to what you should respond to, that's what this is about. They could care less about Caitlin Clark. I've told you several times, they don't care about Caitlin Clark. She is a tool for their cause. How could you actually care about women and cover up the Epstein files? I'm sure E. Jean Carroll would have something to say about that. Right? But this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous on a whole nother level. But yeah, I just wanted to come join let me see. Yeah. This whole thing, this right here is a big psychological warfare. This is a big psychological battle that we're going through. And only ones that actually can see clear will understand. Right? But yeah, I just wanted to come in, man. Thank you for joining, man. I just wanted to come in and talk about this, but this is ridiculous. Anybody that liked the live, like, share, and subscribe. And tell me what you think in the comments.